What's up, everybody? Mr. Big Shot Bop back again with another video. So what we about to react to today is how Allen Iverson lost 200 mil. Let's check it out.
Allen Iverson went from being one of the best players in the NBA, making $20 million per year, to being kicked out of the league and broke. So how did AI torch $200 million?
Oh yeah, and I'm outside too, and it feels good.
And was he really penniless and unable to pay his bills, as some reports suggested? Iverson grew up in a tough neighborhood, surrounded by drugs and criminals. His family didn't have electricity at times, and due to a busted plumbing system, their floors were often filled with feces from the sewage. Allen would spend every second of every day on the playgrounds because he didn't want to return to that awful smell at home.
Can you blame him? I mean, it smells like doo-doo in the house.
Iverson was extremely talented, but one incident nearly erased any chance of him playing professional basketball. In 1993, when Iverson was still a high school senior, he decided to go bowling with friends, when all of a sudden a brawl broke out. Even though he had nothing to do with the fight, he was wrongly accused of injuring a teenage girl and sentenced to 15 years in prison. Thankfully, after spending just 4 months in jail, Iverson was granted his freedom. But the bad reputation of a convict left him with no college offers. AI's mother knew he was too talented to just give up on his basketball dreams. So with nowhere else to turn, his mother decided to write a letter to Georgetown's Coach Thompson, begging for a second chance to make things right. And against all odds, Thompson offered him a scholarship and probably saved Allen's life.
All because mama jumped in. Yeah, mama helped him out.
Then just like that, after 2 spectacular seasons with the Hoyas, Iverson became the first pick in the 1996 NBA draft.
Oh, y'all gonna hear some cars because I'm outside, like I said. Man, it's ridiculous, but whatever, because it feels good out here today.
Didn't take him long to capture the hearts of NBA fans. AI dazzled with his speed, his fearlessness, and a deadly crossover that even Jordan couldn't stop. On top of that, AI had the swag to match his on-court production. And when MJ retired in 1998, Iverson became the most popular and most influential player in the NBA. Half of the NBA started to wear cornrows because of Iverson. Players started to get more tattoos and wear throwback football jerseys to games, with ice around their necks to flaunt the millionaire status. I mean, Iverson was...
It's crazy because I just came out here and now a lot of cars want to start coming by like, oh, he's outside making the video. Oh, we about to start coming by here. That's crazy.
Icier than the North Pole. Necklaces, chains, bracelets, earrings, you name it. AI was rocking it. He was the poster boy of the bling bling era in the late 90s and early 2000s. And of course, all that jewelry wasn't cheap. But that was just the tip of the iceberg of his spending habits. AI bought a lot of luxury cars.
See, that's where you mess up at. That's where you mess up at. When you start getting a lot of money, you be like, I'm about to go blow this.
And there were some...
Because he don't have no discipline.
Legendary stories about how little he cared about them. One time, his rookie teammate Larry Hughes was so excited when he saw Iverson's Bentley that AI simply let Hughes take it. It's true, he already had several Bentleys in his garage anyways.
It was too nice. It was too nice. Can't be too nice to everybody.
But what's even crazier than just giving away cars was the time Allen walked up to an airport parking lot and couldn't find his luxury car. Or instead of searching for the vehicle, like a normal person, he decided to call a cab, go straight to the dealership, and buy a new one. And the craziness didn't stop there. Matt Barnes, another former teammate of Iverson, spilled a very telling story about AI's lavish spending. Barnes and Iverson would sometimes go to the gentlemen's nightclubs, aka strip joints, and Iverson would routinely throw away $30,000 or $40,000 a night, just making it rain. Barnes also...
Whoa, it's too much money, man. That's rent money right there, man.
said he'd often just scoop up some of the cash.
But to him, that's like chunk change. That time.
Cash off the floor and keep it, because he couldn't believe that this man was literally throwing money away. Iverson was a baller in every sense of the word, being iced out, buying oversized mansions, luxury cars, and flying private, and the costs started adding up.
I mean, ain't nothing wrong with buying all that stuff, but it just, you gotta start, you know, don't get too addicted to buying a lot of expensive luxury stuff, if that makes sense.
Even if you're making $20 million a year. Here's what AI's regular monthly spending bills look like. He'd spend $10,000 on new clothes, $10 grand on restaurants, and another $10 on groceries. $125,000 a month was just his credit cards and mortgages for various houses he bought. Then there's also the partying and the gambling. It's reported that Iverson blew $1 million in one night while gambling at an
That's crazy. He blew all that in one night, but I mean, he knew he had another check coming, but that's too much money.
Atlantic City casino. Due to some unpaid debts and drunken behavior, he was banned from several casinos in Atlantic City and Detroit. On top of his own costs, AI always kept a big entourage around. At the peak of his fame, he had 50 of his friends and relatives living and traveling with him. And of course, Allen paid for everything. And he had probably loaned...
See, that's where he messed up at. He got 50 friends. He got 50 users, that use him,
a lot of money that he never saw again. At the beginning of his career, AI didn't trust banks, and he kept all of his money in huge garbage bags that were just laying around the house. Of course, some of the money bags went missing after a while, which is expected if you have 50 people in your entourage. Iverson also went through some legal troubles over the years and had to pay various settlements. So it's become easy to see how one can blow through $200 million after paying living costs for 50 people, giving cars away, gambling in casinos, and throwing massive parties all the time. After Iverson retired from the NBA in 2010, his income could no longer sustain the lavish spending like there was an endless supply of money. But the nail in Iverson's financial coffin was his divorce, which was public, messy, and costly. In 2012, his ex-wife sued Allen for unpaid child support and violation of a postnuptial agreement. By court order, his bank account was frozen because he couldn't pay an $860,000 debt owed to a jeweler, and 2 of his houses went into foreclosure. It seemed like Iverson had hit rock bottom, and one website even claimed that Iverson was begging for food outside of a mall in Atlanta. While the news garnered national attention and more than 100,000 people shared it on social media, it was fake news from a satirical website. Iverson never had to beg for anything, but it was definitely true that he wasn't financially solvent at the time, and that he had burned through $200+ million just 2 years after his career was over.
Damn. $200 million in 2 years. You should have took that money and invested. I'm just saying.
As depressing as it may be to torch $200 million, this story does have a happy ending. All thanks to Iverson's guardian angel. One of AI's friends made Allen set up a crazy contract with Reebok, and it's arguably the most unique sports endorsement contract ever. In 2001, at the height of his fame, Iverson signed a lifetime contract with the shoe company, and the deal has a payment structure of $800,000 per year and a $32 million trust fund for Iverson that he'll gain access to in the year 2030. We don't know why the contract was structured the way it was.
I got an idea. It was structured like that because his bad spending habits. He didn't, he still don't have the discipline, but, whenever he gets that money, I hope he be disciplined with it.
Contract was structured the way it was. Maybe his friends saw that Iverson's spending got out of hand and that he needed to be protected. On top of that lovely Reebok money, Iverson started receiving his NBA pension in 2020 when he turned 45 years old. The pension pays him $8,000 per month, which equals $96,000 annually. And it doesn't stop there. Reebok and the NBA are not his only current sources of income. Allen Iverson still makes great money because he's Allen Iverson. AI is still one of the most famous basketball players alive, and he earns a lot of money for showing up at events and endorsing various products, venues, or services. Heck, if a club opened up and we knew that Iverson was there, we'd go to the club too. Who wouldn't want to party with AI? And most recently, Iverson got involved with Viola, a cannabis company co-founded by former NBA player Al Harrington. So, if you ever make $200 million, please don't throw it all away like AI. Iverson was behaving like a drunken rock star for much of his career. And to be fair, oftentimes he really was a drunken rock star, or at least he partied like one. He was spending like there was no tomorrow. And by 2012, he blew through all of his millions. But thankfully, Iverson is not broke. He's still making 7 figures every year. And when that Reebok money hits in 2030, he's still going to be one of the richest people in America. Let's just hope he makes smarter financial decisions this time around.
Oh man, that video is very, entertaining. If y'all want to see more videos like this, comment down below and been Mr. Big Shot Pop. Bye.